Yo, what's up, Bonehawk? Shujinkydink here. Welcome to a video all about Mortal Kombat 11. This is part 2 of our Beginner's Guide 2023. So if you enjoyed the first one, this one should be right up your alley as well. We're going to go kind of dive into more game mechanics and talk about 3 major things in this video. Counters, punishes, and crushing blows, and kind of what the difference is between them and how they all kind of correlate into themselves. So yeah, sit back and hopefully you learn something here, because I love teaching.
Accept your death.
So counterattacks and punishes are actually a pretty important part of this game, because you can get a lot of extra damage by knowing how to use these things properly. And you'll see on your moves list that there are special things you can get here called crushing blows, if you weren't familiar with them already. And it says to trigger this, you have to do a counter or a punish. But if you don't know what those are, how are you going to get them? Well, don't worry. This guy's got 2 thumbs, and he's here to help you. So we're going to start off with counter attacks. So my analogy for this, and I use this a lot in my tutorial videos, is boxing. So you think about, you're throwing a punch at someone, right? Like there's that point where that punch is supposed to connect and like actually hit the person. So a counterattack, you think about it this way: I'm throwing this punch, and just before this punch actually hits you, you punch me in the face. And now I'm just like, oh my god, what do I do now? My punch is virtually useless because you hit me before my punch could hit you. So that's what a counter move is. Shang Tsung has this wonderful move that I wanted to demonstrate, where he just runs and he wants to boot you in the face. It's a fantastically hilarious move. He's just like, yeet, boo, boot you in the face. But it's slow enough so I can kind of, I think, show you how it works. So let me get the AI all set up here so we can explain. Okay, so Shang Tsung is going to want to run, and you can see right where the end of the attack after his run, boom, and that hits us. So if we hit him anytime before that move actually starts to try and hit us, we're going to get a counter on the screen. There you go. See? Counter right there. Because we interrupted the move before his kick could actually kick us in the face, you know, the little yeet that he does. We managed to interrupt him with a little poke. There, we did it again. Look at that. We know what we're doing. Does that make sense? And you don't even have to like have it like, you know, go over top of you like that. You can just like kind of do like that. See? Counter. Just before he just thought about doing it. And I was like, nope. And that we got the counter on there. So if I did a move that had the counter with it, then I would get that bonus that we were looking at in the moves list. Yeah, so that's a counter. I feel like I made that fairly clear as far as, you know, that kind of thing goes. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. But now we're going to talk about what the difference between that and a punish is. All right, so the difference between a counter and a punish, and we're going to revisit the boxing scenario again, because that's what I like to do. I have experience boxing myself, and I like to kind of put those two together. I think they work well together. So now let's say we're getting set to throw a punch, right? Before we were throwing the punch, and before the punch hit, boom, it's in the face. We don't know what's going on. You know, I'm calling you Carolyn or something like that. Maybe your name's Steve. I don't know what your name is, but if your name is Steve, what's up, Steve? Thanks for watching. So in this scenario, our punch goes through and say this is the point where it's supposed to hit our opponent. We miss. We just completely miss. And now we're left wide open. I can't block because I've already committed to this big whole thing right there. And between this window where I've committed, where I can't block, and to the point where I am able to block, that's the punish window. So that's the little place that you have to actually hit a punish. And again, some things are, you know, punishable in different ways. But after the hit goes past, that's when it turns into a punish. Okay? So let's use the same move, but actually punish it instead of doing the counter. So let's set up our AI here, and we'll be back in... just kidding. Right meow. So we're going to use the same move we just used. Yeah. Same thing, but now we're going to wait just a little bit longer until we see the move flip, and boom. See, if we were standing up, the kick would have hit us. But because we ducked and let the kick go over our head, we wait until he's finished. Like, great job, Shang Tsung, very athletic. and now we hit him afterwards, and now we get the thing on the side that says punish. Okay? Come on. Boom. So the kick completed, but he wasn't able to block, so we hit them with the punish. Now, punish is a little bit of a safer way to go, because if you mistime the counter, sometimes you can get hit, or actually countered yourself, which is like kind of some Inception kind of stuff, you know, like countering the counter. Like I went to counter your attack, but you countered my counter, and now all this crazy stuff's going on in my head, and I'm so confused, and I don't know what's what. So sometimes just waiting and understanding the move, and then just being like, well, there's your punish, you know. And I'm just doing what single hits, but like you can do like full-on combos if you want. That was not a true punish. I think that might be too slow. Let's see. Oh, look at that. There's a Sub-Zero combo for you Sub-Zero players there. Yeah, so it was just to show you an example of like basically your opponent is putting them in a position where they're extremely vulnerable and you want to take advantage of that. So I feel like that's really all there is to say on that topic. So now we're going to move on to crushing blows, and you'll kind of see where this kind of intertwines into the whole thing and why counters and punishes are so important. So hold on here. Transition. So I do like the crushing blow mechanic in this game. It does reward some good gameplay. And I'm going to talk about a few different crushing blows and kind of the different requirements that you might see. But we're going to start with the most relevant ones here, which is the counter and punish ones. Now, the best one that I can find to talk about is the down two, or the uppercut, you know? This one right here. Sub-Zero's is called Rising Doom. Like, that is badass, dude. So, now you look at the crushing blow requirement. Triggers if this attack counters or punishes a high attack. So, well, golly gee, what are the chances that the move that we've been working on with Shang Tsung is also a high attack? Whoa, definitely didn't script that one. Sometimes things just work out, you know what I'm saying? So if you look at our Rising Doom right there, so it does roughly 14%, 140 damage for just the regular move. Now we're going to get a damage boost from that by using the crushing blow on that. So let's set up the AI here so I can show you what that looks like. Alright, so remember, 14%, there's our crushing blow. So we get an extra 5% by successfully ducking under that high attack and hitting with our uppercut. Boom! And you get this little wonderful animation that you get to see violence, you know. There is a second part to this, though. Now, not only has it just become a single attack that you can't really do anything else with, now it has actually became a combo launcher with that. So you can do that and get even more damage. So let me show you an example here. Boom. So instead of the 14% we got from a regular, it boosts our attack more than double that to 36%. Because we had the combo and we hit the down two at the right time. And this is universal, so it doesn't matter what character you pick in this game. Everybody has that same crushing blow. That's the one that everybody has. So whether you're Shang Tsung, whether you're Sub-Zero, the requirements are always the same. Everything is the same. It launches for combos for everyone. So if you're watching this and you're like, well, I play Kano. Well, you know, why do I get that? Yes. Every character in this game has one. Now, moving on from there, not every character has these other ones. So Sub-Zero is one of his that I showed you a little bit earlier, I teased at, is this final drawstring. So crushing blow triggers if this combo is a counter or a punish. So we're looking at that move here. That's that one. So again, 14%. That's nice. That's a good little easy spot for us to work with. So let's show you how much damage we get if we hit this as a crushing blow. So in this scenario, Shang Tsung's trying to be the tricky one and bait us into it. Boom! So there's no launcher on that one. Well, Shang Tsung is really, he's like, oh, okay, I see you're going to do a high, I'm going to hit you with my my uppercut crushing blow, and we're like, I don't think so. Oh, okay, just kidding, plot twist, I mean, come on. Yeah, I messed up the timing there. But yeah, you see, and this is kind of like a fun one, because like, we don't need to execute a combo here. That is literally doubles the damage for nothing other than just hitting that as a counter or a punish. The nice ones are the ones that are counter or punish because you don't have to be quite as specific with the timing. We did a punish on that one, so it is what it is. Let's see if I can hit it as a counter just to kind of really drive home that point, you know what I'm saying? No, I can't. That's okay. By this point, if you've been paying attention, you know what a counter is, you know what a punish is, so you understand what I'm going for here, right? So, yeah, so in that particular one, it has the same as the down two, or uppercut, sorry. But you don't need the execution for a combo. So if you're not the greatest with combos, you might want to go through your moves list and just kind of see what crushing blows you have, play around with them in practice mode, and just see. This one would be a good one if you're good with combos because it will trigger in a combo of 8 or more. So if you do 8 hits or more, you will get this crushing blow at the end. Usually you save this one as an ender and kicks your chest in. So let's go look at some crushing blows that have some alternate inputs. Requirements. Requirements is a better word. Let's go with that one. Okay, so we got 2 unique characters here with 2 unique crushing blow requirements. Noob Saibot is one that I find very interesting because on his special move, the Shadow Tackle Amplify, you get the crushing blow if you have hit 10 shadow moves. So this is Shadow Tackle, Shadow Slide, or the Rising Shadow Kick. So if over the course of the match you hit these 10 times, not like just 10 combined with all 3 of these moves, you're not hitting 30, I'm just saying. And then you hit a Shadow Tackle with the Amplify, you'll get the crushing blow. So this is what like the amplified tackle looks like. So 14% damage, 142 damage. I'm gonna just let you skip the whole me getting all the shadows up, and I'll just show you the crushing blow. I actually decided that I'd show you like a way to cheat if you just want to see what these crushing blows look like. Instead of going through and having to hit the 10 shadows every single time, you just go start, practice options. You go easy crushing blows, player 1, just exit out, and that will preload all the crushing blows for you. Okay, so now that I've actually turned it on, let's have a look and see. So again, 300, so it doubles the damage that this move would regularly do. But yeah, so you got to hit all your 10 of your shadows, but it's just a unique kind of equivalent. There are other things along the same line that hit this a certain amount of times, hit this a certain amount of times. Garrus has one that's like that too. You go to a sand trap move. Triggers if this attack has missed twice in a row or breaks armor. So missed twice in a row, and then boom, sand trap. 318. Let's turn off our easy crushing blows. I think we only had it on player 1 anyways. So yeah, 145. So we're again roughly doubling it. And yeah, so you'll see that do this a certain amount of times, do that a certain amount of times. And as long as you know the requirements, you kind of come up with a game plan to do it, then it'll become easier for you. So these are 2 more unique ones that I just wanted to throw in there just to show you the scope of things that you might want to expect depending on the characters that you're picking up. So starting with Spawn, he has a projectile parry move. If you don't know what that means, it's basically that he puts his cape up here, and if you throw anything at the cape will absorb it, and he can counter and attack. Now, this move has a crushing blow if it does counter a projectile. And you can see here, crushing blow triggers if Unholy Veil parried a projectile. So let's show you what that looks like if you're not super familiar with projectile parries in games. We're gonna have Katana here. Boom, 8 our projectile. Boom. And again, we get way more damage, 476, whether this attack on its own does 110, so literally 4 times the damage if we can read that projectile and then hit that combo afterwards. So, I believe there are a couple characters in this game with similar things like that, but yeah. And then the second one I wanted to show was Katana, and she has one that's very interesting where it will hit you if only the last hit of the combo hits the opponent. So this is kind of where you kind of use your mix and do things. So we're going to set the AI to stance hold, movement type duck. So this move, if you remember from our first beginner's guide video, ends in an overhead. So if you're ducking, ooh, it's going to hit you. Look at that damage. Boom, 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 boom. 16%, and then you can see their health bar kind of ticking away as well. I believe it does an additional 100. So if they don't know to block this last hit and overhead, they're going to get hit with that crushing blow. One thing that makes Katana a little bit scarier in this aspect is she also has the ability to throw a fan low at that same point in the combo. Low. Overhead. So even if your opponent tries to stand up to block the overhead, and you're just like, haha, nope, low. Womp womp. So those are some examples of the different crushing blows that you'll find in this game, and just some strategies and thoughts around how to use them. So, over counters, punishes. I think in the next one, I want to talk about armor, breakaways, and the fatal blow. So I'll be making that one. Hope you've been enjoying this series. I know this is only part 2, but I've already got plans for like a whole thing for this. You know, it's just trying to put out some good content that people can find useful. So if this helped you in any sort of way, leave a like or leave some feedback if you thought it absolutely sucked and I should just never do one again. I don't think it was that bad though. But anyways, yeah. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff. Subscribe if you haven't, because I'm making new videos all the time now. We're starting February grind. So have a wonderful evening, friends. Catch you in the next one.